Hi, everyone. Just popping in to let you know that we just launched our new monthly newsletter, which we've created to share nostalgic news, reviews, and reflections, along with some updates about our other projects. You can sign up for free on our Patreon to get these newsletters in your inbox every last Friday of the month. Thanks for listening.
This is why mouse media and rodent media is so evocative. I think a tiny mouse braving the big wide world is so... You really want to cheer for these little characters because they're just so small and fragile.
Yeah.
But they're doing it anyway.
Yeah.
And it makes you feel like, I'm small and fragile, but maybe I can do it anyway too.
Hello, and welcome back to Nostalgia Club, the podcast where we, three sound designers, talk about books, movies, TV shows that we enjoyed as kids and revisit them as adults and see if they're still good or if we have new takeaways. My name's Victoria, and I'm joined by...
Jino
and Michael.
Hooray! What a smooth intro.
We celebrate every time we do a competent intro.
I think we're just tired.
Yeah. If it's your first time listening, welcome. We're glad you're here.
And if it's not your first time listening, you know what the deal is. Press 9 on your phone to vote for Victoria.
For what? One day you'll find out.
Ooh.
For American Idol, Michael.
Oh, yes.
This is an American Idol reference. Remember American Idol?
I did. Well, I see pieces of it still.
Oh.
Yeah, it's sort of in the air.
Americans and idols.
Yeah. I breathe one in now and again, a piece of American Idol, and I go, oh, wow.
Is it bad?
Well, no, it's just unexpected. It's like water going down the wrong pipe. It's like, oh, that's not supposed to be there.
Is this a good bit?
What are we talking about today? Something involving singing? No.
But dancing, kind of.
Yeah.
That's true.
We're talking about a book called Poppy by an author named Avi, and it's about a tiny deer mouse. If you've listened to Nostalgia Club, you will know that we love talking about rodent media, and today is one of those episodes.
Yay!
Yay! And she's so adorable.
Poppy is pretty close to our archetypical?
I think archetypal.
Our golden example of Matthias, in that she is a mouse with a sword-like implement.
Yeah.
Yes.
And she fights...
once. But her main goal is she just wants to dance and live her life.
Yeah.
Which is great.
And also, her boyfriend dies.
Okay, yeah. I forgot that the book started that way, and I was like, whoa. I read this when I was in middle school. Before I reread it for the podcast, could not tell you a single thing that happens. I just remembered that there's this tiny mouse named Poppy, and she wears an earring. I don't know why that stuck with me. I guess it stuck with me because most mice don't wear jewelry.
Well, it's like...
You got that right.
Yeah.
Well, it's like the mouse... what's it called? The mouse in the motorcycle?
Yeah.
Most mice don't have motorcycles, but that one did. I can't really remember much more.
I do really want us to read The Mouse in the Motorcycle.
I'm totally down.
Even though I don't remember anything about it. But yes, I was just like... I think I was Googling something one day and I happened to see this cover and I was like, wait, I remember this book. We should read it for Nostalgia Club.
It's our genre.
It's our niche.
Yeah.
And
it's
the only
our
thing...
responsibility.
As citizens of this great country, we will read books with mice on the cover.
Our solemn oath to you, fellow citizens.
The country of Nostalgia Club?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Or I should say the country of MouseKnight Studios.
We're an autocracy.
The local principality.
Anyways, my one fun story about this was when I was in middle school, my friend who introduced me to this book had a plush mouse that she named Poppy.
Oh.
That's very cute.
And so my memory of this book is mostly my friend having this mouse, like she would bring her around and we almost like treated Poppy like a third person in the group. So it was fun.
Really cute.
Yeah.
That's adorable.
That's a very kid thing to do.
Yeah.
When I had my stuffed animals phase as a kid, whenever I'd go to the grocery store with my parents, I would leave my stuffed animals in the car and I would pretend to set them up with a TV so they could watch me shop for groceries.
Oh, that's cute.
In the car.
Great.
Plushie entertainment. Wait, I think I said I read this in middle school, but I think it was actually like elementary.
That seems right.
Yeah. elementary, middle school, in between that time.
This is one of those books that's very clearly for a very young audience, but also doesn't really talk down to that audience. It doesn't like simplify its dialogue in a way that is grating for an older reader. And it does like talk about things in a frankness that I think an older reader would find the world that Poppy lives in alarming for a different reason than the children would.
Well, that was going to be my thing. I think this book totally went over my head as a kid.
Yeah.
I didn't remember anything that happened, obviously, but I definitely don't remember it feeling this harrowing.
It is definitely relevant.
Yeah.
It's harrowing and it's based.
It's pretty.
I also didn't remember that Ragweed says dude.
Is Ragweed from the 60s? The first chapter of Poppy tonally threw me off so hard just because of the dialogue.
What, do we not say dude anymore?
But he doesn't just say dude. It's like his whole demeanor is
No, that's
like,
true.
He says
like
dude.
surfer guy.
Well, at first I was like, wait, did he just call Poppy
like,
dude?
He does call Poppy my best girl.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
is,
But then he says dude all the time. Like he'd be like, that dude, the owl, or like,
yeah.
your dude.
It's a really, I'm really excited to talk about this book because there's a lot of really interesting choices.
Yeah.
And I think it's trying to say something, but I don't know if it succeeds. But I also appreciate it trying. A lot of media tries to say something and fails, and then it kind of leaves a bad taste in your mouth. But Poppy tries to say something, and I don't know if it works, but I'm like, nice.
I think it succeeds. I just think maybe the conclusion it reaches isn't like, the way it plots out the conclusion isn't necessarily like...
The final chapter surprised me in that they ended like I thought they would, but how they happened, I was like, oh no. Why like this?
The book does have a very clear social message.
Yeah.
But the resolution is more interpersonal.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily involve the community of mice as we come to learn about them.
Mm-hmm.
The community of mice rather benefits from Poppy's very harrowing journey. But Poppy does learn things along the way. Even very late into the book, Poppy is possessed of a certain naivete that left me incredibly stressed.
Yeah. I spent a lot of this book going, Poppy, no.
Yeah. But we'll talk about it.
Yeah. A little bit more background. Poppy is technically the second of the Dimwood Forest tales.
Oh.
Tales of Dimwood Forest, I believe, is like the series name.
I did see the list of books.
Yeah, so there's more books, but technically Poppy was written first.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just funny because it really throws you in, and it's like, here's Poppy and her boyfriend, and he dies immediately. And you're like, whoa.
Well, then when you look at the list of books, right, the first one is called Ragweed, which is Poppy's boyfriend.
So technically Ragweed was written as a prequel, but now if you wanted to read everything chronologically, you could.
I just can't imagine. I mean, I suppose you can write books in such a way that things like this don't feel like it wouldn't feel out of left field if you began the third book in the series and you're presumed. I mean, I'm making an assumption that the book Ragweed and then the book Ragweed and Poppy has Ragweed as a central point of view character. And then if you made it to book 3, reading chronologically, which is just called Poppy, Ragweed dies immediately.
So the first one is Ragweed. Poppy is book 2. Poppy and Rye is book 3. And then you can go... Poppy and Ragweed actually was written in 2020.
Oh, okay.
So it was written last.
Wow.
So the author was like, oh, wait, we got to give some more context to how Poppy and Ragweed met, I guess, and went back and wrote it.
I'm just imagining a version of this where you start from the beginning
that's
and
true.
then book 3 rolls around and you're like, what?
The title does kind of spoil it, though. Ragweed. Here's Poppy. Ragweed's gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's just Poppy.
I am curious to know more about Ragweed because he's such like...
He's a character.
He's a character and he has really interesting aspects to him, but we also like barely know him at all in this book.
Yeah.
But my impression, just because I went and like read the summaries for all of the subsequent books, it feels like Ragweed is the character who haunts the narrative of Poppy. Because, for example, Poppy and Rye, which is the book after this, is about Poppy going to find Ragweed's family to tell them that their son is dead. So she wants to go meet his family because when they first met, Ragweed talked about like, oh, I would love for you to meet my family eventually, blah, blah, blah. And so a lot of that, I assume, is also about her accepting that Ragweed's gone. And then she meets Rye, who's Ragweed's brother, and then they fall in love. So spoilers for the end.
What's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Yeah, I guess so.
What's good for the mice is good for the meese.
But I do think it's interesting that Avi chose to start the book in this way. You immediately know how dangerous this world is.
It's a really great tone setter.
Yeah.
Because we get these cute little anthropomorphic mice, but the book starts from the perspective of the owl who's hunting them, and also their dictator in a weird way.
Yes.
And so it shows you immediately, got to take care of this owl.
Yeah. It is interesting. And the fact that the book will oscillate between like Poppy's perspective and Mr. Ocax, the owl's perspective, here and there, spending more time with Poppy, understandably. But it does give us clear insight into the owl and how he thinks, which is mostly just, I like eating and I like making people afraid of me.
Yeah.
A proper classic tyrant.
Yeah.
Should we do a plot summary?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Poppy follows the story of a tiny deer mouse named Poppy, and she lives with a ginormous family, which we'll get into a little bit later. But the book actually starts, like Jino and Michael said, with the owl's perspective, looking down on his domain of the Dimwood Forest and being like, I love hunting and eating things. I can't wait to eat something. Oh, who's that? On that hill, 2 tiny mice? Sounds great. What's better than 1 mouse for dinner? 2 mice. So he sets out. Then we cut to Poppy and her boyfriend Ragweed's perspective. They're up on this hill because Poppy wants to dance together because she has like read these magazines where she sees humans dancing and she's like, I love that idea. Let's go have a romantic night on this hill. But she's really terrified because the sort of law of the land, or like the way that the mice operate, is that they know that anytime they go in a certain area, they have to, quote, ask for permission from the owl. And so she's like, Ragweed, we didn't ask for permission. It's really dangerous out here. And Ragweed's like, dude, I don't care. And Ragweed kind of pushes back. He's like, I don't understand why the owl gets to tell you guys what to do. Why can't we just roam about however we want? They have this back and forth. And then finally, Ragweed says, like, you don't know how to live like I do. And then he dies because the owl swoops down and eats him.
Yeah.
Rest in
Eats
peace,
him whole.
Ragweed.
It's rough.
Eats him whole, including his earring.
Yes, Ragweed wears a signature earring, and poor guy, gone like that.
Rest in pellet, Ragweed.
Yeah, rest in pellet, yeah.
Wow.
And so then Poppy is terrified, so she gets away with just like a little scratch on her nose, and she hides in the log. And then the owl's like angry because he's like, how did this mouse get away from me? I'm gonna try and find her. So he stays up to try and get her while she tries to make her way home, and she manages to elude him. So now he's even more mad because not only has this mouse escaped him once, now it's twice. And he doesn't understand what's up with this mouse.
It's an insult to his authority.
Yeah. She defied his rules and she got away with it. Now maybe he's worried that she'll tell her family that she did this and they'll suddenly be like, oh, we can do whatever we want. But actually she goes home and her father, who's like the head of the clan, has called a meeting. And he's basically saying, our colony is getting too big. And so we need to move. At least half of us need to move to this new house because they all live in like an old farmhouse.
Don't they call it Old House?
I think they do call it
it's
Old
Gray
House.
House.
Gray House.
Gray.
Yeah, and it's
Gray
like
House
falling apart.
and New House.
Yeah, Gray House and New House.
I love these naming conventions.
Yeah. They're nice. And he says, we need to go to New House because I've heard from my sparrow friend that there's a lot of food for us to eat there. Here, it's really hard for us, and we're going to die out if we stay here much longer, at least like a big group of us. Because he says, like, my wife and I myself have had 65 children, and we have grandchildren, and then we have great-grandchildren. It's like a lot of mice.
Over 100 mice.
Yes.
In this house.
Yeah. But in order to move to new house, they have to ask the owl for permission because it's a half-day's journey. They would be going through the owl's territory.
It's like a specific road.
Yeah.
I forget the name of it, but they'd be traveling like on this road.
Yes.
The I-5?
Yep, that's the one. And believe me, if asking permission to go on the I-5 meant that my journey would be smoother, I'd be tempted to do it.
True. Part of the reason why they answer to this Mr. Ocax is because he claims to protect them from porcupines, which are famously evil meat eaters. According to the owl.
Yeah.
We know as readers that they're herbivores.
Mr. Ocax has printed propaganda for these mice that depicts these porcupines firing their quills like missiles and then ripping the mice apart. And the mice who have never seen a porcupine before accept this terrifying propaganda wholeheartedly because they're mice. That's a bad reason.
It's just how they've been brought up.
Yeah. Their leader, Poppy's father, Lungwort, has no reason to disbelieve Mr. Ocax, but also he's sort of in like a number 2 position of power. His relationship, his ability to meet with Mr. Ocax and survive sort of gives him this air of authority, and he is sort of desperately clinging to this facade.
He's definitely like indoctrinated into his own kind of like
he refuses to even question this worldview.
Yeah.
This reality that we must ask the owl permission to do anything, and he's protecting us from this mysterious, dangerous creature we've never seen, and we're just going to assume that this is true. And if he has to eat a few of us, then they deserved it.
Yeah.
Because they broke the rules,
Because they broke the rules.
Yeah,
and, we can't have that.
That's his view on yes, a couple mice over the years have been eaten by Mr. Ocax, but they probably did something. Like, they probably strayed out of bounds or whatever.
If you get eaten by Mr. Ocax, the visage of your memory is shunned.
Yeah.
Which is terrifying.
Yeah, and part of the reason, so there's tension between Ragweed and Poppy's parents because Ragweed is actually a golden mouse, so he's not from the area. He's like a newcomer, and so he's the only one who's questioning everything that Lungwort says, especially about the porcupine. He's like, have you ever met a porcupine? And he doesn't understand why all these rules, but it really grates on Poppy's parents because they're like, our daughter is hanging out with this miscreant. So Poppy goes home. Her father's called this meeting. And after the meeting, he pulls her aside and he's like, where were you? Why were you late? And where's Ragweed? Does he think he's above us not coming to this meeting? And she's like, he got eaten last night. And her father's like, well, he probably deserved it.
Lungwort is the worst.
Yeah.
Poppy's mother is significantly more sympathetic, but at the end of the day, she also subscribes to this worldview, this propaganda. And so it's like Poppy is truly isolated, except for like one of her siblings, I think. Basil.
One of her cousins.
Is it Basil?
Yeah.
Who's younger.
Always trust a character named Basil. They're always the best.
But yeah, there's this sort of rumor mill effect where everyone starts talking about Ragweed's death and then talking about his death as a consequence of his behavior and nature and personality such that they weren't before. Like, sure that they would maybe be like, Ragweed sure is an odd one, but the minute he is killed, it's suddenly like, well, it's because he was an odd one.
And a lot of this is also tangentially placed onto Poppy because she was there. And she also admits that it's like, this is later. But like eventually the mice are sort of like shunning Poppy as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she technically broke the rules too. She was just lucky to get away.
Yeah.
So Lungwort decides, sort of as a consequence of Poppy breaking the rules, that Poppy is going to accompany him to go talk to Mr. Ocax. Also because all the other mice are absolutely terrified about going to see the owl, and Poppy was the only one who didn't immediately like shrivel back in fear. So Lungwort writes like a whole speech in which it's described that when he asks for people's opinion on the speech, if you criticize him, he disagrees. And then if you say that it's good, then he'll be like, you're wrong. You're just saying that. And so he'll just like sit there and like mutter to himself while writing this speech.
Make a bunch of like small adjustments that really amount to nothing.
Yeah.
All of these mice are really in a hell, partially of their own making, where they are completely like Mr. Ocax knows best, but they're also terrified of him to the point where they don't even want to think about him.
Yeah.
And it's this really weird juxtaposition in their mind where they're like, we are protected by our savior and he might kill us all.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad he's here. Don't look at him.
I think they're all just terrified. Like, if I step like a single paw out of line, he could kill me.
Yeah. This book has a really interesting thing to say about perspective, like worldly perspective, because these mice have a very limited view of themselves and the world around them. They can't see the world from Mr. Ocax's point of view, and they can't see it from anyone else's point of view. Not for like lack of trying, they just physically can't.
Yeah.
And then later when we meet other characters who do have different perspectives, it really changes how Poppy is able to navigate the world, literally just by looking at it differently.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting to me.
Yeah. So Poppy goes with Lungwort to talk to Mr. Ocax, and it's like this whole thing where the owl is angry again because Poppy is showing her face. He talks to Lungwort, and Lungwort explains, we want to move. And the owl is like, weirdly, have you been to New House? And Lungwort says, no, but I heard from a friend. And as soon as he says that, then Mr. Ocax says, no, you can't go. I won't let you. And Poppy notes that. She realizes it sounds strange. But she's also kind of distracted because she's fearful. But also she found one of the pellets that was Ragweed, rest in peace. And she takes his earring.
Ooh, this is like a Leviathan horror.
Yeah.
Like Dark Souls. Like, oh, and there's a big round blob. That was my boyfriend.
We were going to be married. Oh, right, because Ragweed asked Poppy to marry him on that hill. And before she could say yes,
maximum devastation.
Yeah. They're going to live happily ever after. Mr. Ocax specifically says to Lungwort, the reason why I won't let you guys go is because your daughter defied my rules and escaped from me. But if you give her to me, maybe I'll reconsider. So it's like, yikes, man. They go home. Lungwort is devastated because he's like, our whole family's going to die. He makes Poppy go and tell her family that she's the reason why they can't move, which is just brutal. And it sucks so bad.
Lungwort gives me mad vibes similar to Kitty's parents in the second Bartimaeus book.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Which you can hear more about if you listen to our episodes on Bartimaeus, the Bartimaeus sequence.
Yes.
But yeah, very much like, in this case, owl-pilled.
Yeah.
Owl-pelleted.
He falls into despair so quickly when the authority figure in his life tells him no. He's like, that's it. There are no other options. We're all going to die.
Yeah.
Right now. And Poppy's like, well, can we try another option? And he's like, and die? Those are the options in Ocax's world.
So Poppy vows to resolve the situation herself. So she sets out and she decides that she'll go to New House by herself and scout it out because she remembered what Mr. Ocax said. And she's like, well, that was kind of weird. I think there might be something at New House that he doesn't want us to know about. So I'm going to go find out what that is, and then I'll come back home and tell my family about it. But of course, for one tiny mouse, it's a very harrowing journey. So the rest of the book is mostly Poppy going out into the wide world on this half-day journey. And she decides to go through the forest because there's a couple different routes, but one of them takes her too close to Mr. Ocax's lookout tree, so she wants to avoid that. And the other one is too close to the hill where Ragweed died, and she's not ready to face that. So she decides to go to the forest. And in the forest, at first she's really scared because it's a lot for a tiny mouse, and she's never been there by herself. But she's like, you can do it, Poppy, and you are charmed by her resilience and her optimism in this situation.
This is why mouse media and rodent media is so evocative, I think. A tiny mouse braving the big wide world is so... You really want to cheer for these little characters because they're just so small and fragile, but they're doing it anyway. And it makes you feel like, I'm small and fragile, but maybe I can do it anyway, too.
And the obstacles are things like, oh, she has to cross this river, and there's 19 steps to get across the river. So you're just like rooting for her to like get every step. And then along the way, Mr. Ocax is like stalking her, which is not great.
She's getting constantly dive bombed by a giant owl, which is really going to put a damper in your stride.
Yeah.
But the forest is really nice.
So the forest is really nice. And she's like, actually, the forest is better because there's more cover. And also during the daytime, I can move more because Mr. Ocax will be sleeping, etc. But she does encounter a couple other creatures. She almost gets attacked by a fox. So she runs into the log to hide from the fox. And in the log, she meets a porcupine. And she's like, oh my God. And the porcupine is this grumpy...
curmudgeon?
A curmudgeonly guy.
Just an old man.
Yeah, and his name is Ereth, short for Erethizon dorsatum, because he has Latin names. And there's like fun exchanges where he's like, all porcupines have Latin names. What's your name? And she's like, my name's Poppy. And he says, Poppy? What kind of name is that? She's like, well, all mice are named after herbs and flowers and stuff.
Great
so it's
world
fun.
building.
And he chases off the fox, and he basically sets Poppy's record straight, which is like, I don't eat meat. I don't care about eating mice whatsoever. In fact, Mr. Ocax hates me because I'm big and I have spikes and there's nothing he can do to intimidate me. And if the spikes I won't like deliberately attack people with them, but if they fall out and you step on it, it will get caught and the barbs will really hurt.
I mean, he will deliberately attack people. He deliberately attacks the fly. He's basically like, if you get on my nerves...
But he's not going to like shoot his quills like missiles.
Yeah, he's like, I can't shoot my quills like missiles, but I'm going to slap
sprint
you
up
with my
tree
tail.
and body slam this owl.
Yeah. I mean, like, he'll defend himself, but he's not like this like horrendous creature like all the mice have been taught he is.
Yeah.
And he too, like the mice, is locked into his own perspective.
Mm-hmm.
He is so protected from the world. He is incapable of truly sympathizing with any other creature who is not protected from the world. It's a really interesting dichotomy because you expect Poppy to find this porcupine, and you see the cover of the book. She's holding a porcupine quill like a spear in a very cool stance. And so you're like, oh, like the porcupine is nice, and give her a quill and she'll protect herself. But no, the porcupine's like, eh.
Yeah, the way that she acquires the quill is actually sort of by accident later.
Yeah.
And even convincing Ereth to help is mainly convincing him that there's something in it for himself.
Yeah.
Because she's like, well, perfect. If the owl is afraid of you, can you escort me to Newhouse and back so that I don't have to worry about it? It's not very far for you to travel, and it'll be so much safer for me. And he's like, nah, I'm okay. Just go do it. You made it all the way here. Why not?
Yeah.
He's like, it's your business.
Yeah.
It's not mine.
He has no reference for the capabilities of a mouse. He's like, yeah, you can totally give me this big... He wants a salt lick.
Yeah. He's like, oh, Newhouse has a salt lick. And if you bring me that, then I'll, like, help you.
Which, if you don't know what a salt lick is, it's basically a big block of salt on a metal pole, and deer will run up to it and
yeah, and Poppy says yes, but she doesn't even know what a salt lick is. Yeah. She's just like, sure, I'll...
Whatever gets you to help me, man.
And Ereth is like, yeah, easy. A mouse can grab that for me. No!
Even once because he escorts her to Newhouse and he's like, well, I got you here, so bring me my salt lick later, okay? And she's like, wait, where are you going? Yeah. And he's like, I'm going to go home, and then you can bring it to me later. And she's like, how am I supposed to carry this? She's literally like, maybe if I go home and get Basil, then Basil and I can find a way to like lug this like giant salt lick to Ereth. Not to mention, how do they even get it off the pole, you know?
Yeah.
But she does make it to Newhouse, and she's really excited because there's plenty of food. She's like, wow, so many corn kernels on the ground that I can snack on. And she just camps out for part of the day.
Is it like a cornfield?
Yeah, it's a cornfield because it's a farm.
Really makes you think. Because Mr. Ocax's whole deal is you need permission to move wherever I want you to move. And so he's basically confined all the mice to this one area where they're easy to hunt.
Yeah.
And the second Poppy leaves that area, she's like, wow, it's so abundant out here. And it's really nice to be outside.
Yeah.
Which is like a really clever strategy on Mr. Ocax's part by demonizing, it's called what the Dimwood, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which sounds ominous.
Yeah.
Just by title alone, but by demonizing everything outside of this one house, he's basically trapped the mice in like a mental fence.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason Poppy even realizes anything outside is good is because she leaves out of desperation.
Yeah.
Dictator.
Yeah. Pretty much. So she scouts out this farm and she sees like, oh, they have an old cat, but he seems pretty old, so he's probably not a threat. So she goes to talk to the cat and she's like scouting out. She's like, what was Mr. Ocax so afraid of? And she realizes in the barn, there's a giant owl, like twice the size of Mr. Ocax. So she's like, oh my gosh. And the more she observes, because she sees like one of the farmer's kids comes out and moves the owl. And she's like, wait a minute, that's not a real owl. That's a fake owl. Which I have a funny story because at my old apartment, we had like a small garden area and we were planting seeds, but then birds kept eating the seeds. So we actually got one of those fake owls from the store and we like hung it up to try and scare birds away.
Did it work?
It didn't work for like everything. So we also got like shiny tape that would just like disorient the birds a little bit. But it just made me laugh because I was like, oh yeah, I did have that fake owl like, outside my apartment for a bit. Anyways, Poppy's like, wait, this is perfect. If we move here, Mr. Ocax can't hurt us because he's so afraid of this silly fake owl. She resolves to go home, but then Mr. Ocax gets her. Or
he gets her and he eats her in the bookends.
Yeah. No, she does this thing that felt really out of character to me. And maybe in hindsight, maybe it's in character, but she spots Mr. Ocax giving this fake owl the death glare.
Right, and she decides to taunt him.
Which made me so stressed.
I was like, Poppy, no!
That whole chapter was, oh my God, because she's safe in the cornfield.
Yeah.
The corn is packed too tight for Mr. Ocax to like get her. So she's like, I'm safe in this corn. I'm just gonna taunt this guy who's been dogging me for the last 1,000 miles.
I do kind of get it because I feel like at that point he's been like on her tail for this entire journey. So even to like go back home would be like avoiding him. So she's kind of like, I just want to like make fun of him a little bit. But
she
survival
she had a very euphoric moment the night prior. When she realized that the owl was fake and that actually Mr. Ocax is pretty pathetic.
Yeah.
And I think, did she eat her fill of something or was I just imagining that?
Yeah, she had a lot of corn. I think it's literally, I mean, it's my thoughts on the scene, on the chapter were, sorry, did I?
Sorry, no, it's just, to say so casually, just like, yeah, she had a lot of corn. I don't know, it just made me laugh.
Corn's great.
it is good.
Sorry.
My thought, when I was listening to this chapter, the thoughts that came to mind were, one, she's found this advantage and she's immediately dismantling it in front of our eyes. She's like, she's throwing it away immediately.
I know, I was like, no, safety.
But I think also she's had her perspective so widely and violently shifted. She no longer sees Mr. Ocax as like this tyrant leader. She sees him as this kind of like pathetic, insignificant thing.
She calls him just like a big bully.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because her perspective has been so widened. Like she's seeing things from Ereth's perspective, which is great for, expanding your worldview, but it's not great to forget that you're a mouse. Yeah. You've got to remember that you're a mouse.
Yeah.
But also it feels like something maybe her father might, like the energy was the same as her father. Of like, now I've got this little bit of leverage. I'm going to use all of it right away.
Yeah.
That's true. When you put it in that perspective, it's like that's how she was raised. So it makes more sense that she would just kind of give it up for this one victory.
Yeah. And the reason I think she's falling into her father's trap is because Mr. Ocax is able to literally talk her out of the cornfield under the guise of a meeting.
Yeah.
Which is what her father does all the time with Mr. Ocax.
Yeah.
She's literally falling into the same trap.
Because she's like, oh, he respects me now. I can go talk to him.
I'm going to write a big, long speech and make a flag.
Yeah. So he lures her out of the cornfield and they talk, but obviously then he attacks her. And
I mean, they talk until she's out of the cornfield.
Yeah, but like the second she's out of
the cornfield,
yeah.
the only reason she survives is because she's wearing Ragweed's earring and she feels the gust of Mr. Ocax's wings as he's descending towards her, like brush the earring, and she's like, ah!
That was a really cool moment.
Yeah. And so then she fights Mr. Ocax, and she's like mostly dodging, and she's like, I just got to get back to the cornfield. But then she ends up having to use her porcupine quill sword that she picked up because Ereth dropped it. She fights him, and then she manages to... It's like a really harrowing battle.
Yeah.
Because it's still like a really tiny porcupine spear compared to a giant owl.
Yeah.
And it's clear that Mr. Ocax is just like... He would like to get out of this thing unscathed. Mm-hmm. Like, he could probably overwhelm Poppy if he had to, but he just doesn't want to get stung by that porcupine stinger because it'll hurt. And so he's, like, constantly, like...
Dodging.
And sort of lunging at her and saying, like, I'll basically wait you out. You just need to mess up once. He's like, I have to exhaust
you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, like, Poppy can't kill him.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe, like, with a really great strike. I mean, it's basically a spear, but she's got one attack. Like, she stabs once... It's in, and then she's weaponless.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So she manages to get his claw, and he shrieks in pain, and he tries to fly away, but Poppy holds on because she doesn't want to let go of her one weapon. And so then she's like dangling through the air, and she's like, oh shoot, I can't let go, because if I let go and drop from this height, then I'm definitely dead. And then it becomes this whole thing where Mr. Ocax can't fly properly because of the extra weight and pain in his claw. And so he ends up flying really erratically, and then he
flies over the cornfield.
Yeah.
And he's trying to like knock Poppy off by like dragging his foot through the corn. I can only imagine how this must have looked if you were one of the humans in the house looking outside and seeing this owl with a mouse like flying around by the end.
This is another reason why we love mouse literature.
Yeah.
Is because you got to think about it from a human's perspective. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. And because he's not watching where he's going, he ends up flying directly into the salt lick, knocking it off the pole. It shatters on the ground, and he dies.
Blunt force trauma.
Woo!
He does have some rather funny last words when Poppy goes up to him. He's like lying there stunned, and what are they exactly? It's something like
listen to ghost inspectors.
He says, sometimes I wonder why I bother to protect you.
Which is
crazy.
Crazy.
Because
I think it really gives a little bit of insight, because if those are his last words, he probably genuinely believes that he is protecting these mice in this weird, twisted way.
Yeah.
Like he's essentially farming them.
Yeah.
Mm.
But he does see himself as their only like shield against the world also.
He does see himself as above them, but he also sees himself as like put upon, you know?
Like responsible.
Yeah.
And he hates it.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I have to farm these mice? Gross. They're always asking for things and waving the little flags.
Yeah.
Wait, don't leave.
wait, hold on.
So Poppy goes back to Ereth, and she's like, she kind of killed she's like, Mr. Ocax is dead. And Ereth is like, okay, sure. And he's like, but where's my salt lick?
And then Poppy's
she's like, well, it's on the ground.
It's so funny.
And he's like, what do you mean it's on the ground? And he like runs away to go and get it. And she's like, well, can I like rest here while you go do that? And he's like, yeah, whatever. I just need to get my salt lick before it melts.
If this was an animated adaptation, I would... traditional hand animation the whole time until Ereth figures out the salt lick's on the ground. Then he's like, it's melting! And those like rotoscoped animations that like, it's like, and then suddenly he's like, he gets up on two legs and he just like full like human sprints out of his hole. Like, no, I gotta get the salt.
And Poppy wakes up and he's just like munching away on this salt. And she's like, did you get a piece of it? He's like, I got all of it.
He needs to see a doctor immediately.
I was like, that's so
Well, he said he has
salt.
something with his liver that makes him crave salt. So I wonder if there was like...
He did mention medical problems. So we definitely should see a doctor immediately. That's too much salt. Like body weight, like ratio.
The salt block is like...
It's like
his
his size.
A good chunk of his size, yeah.
I do love when he's back and Poppy's like, did you see Mr. Ocax? And he's like, oh yeah, he's dead.
You want some of this, kid? I'm going to eat all of it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so Poppy rests and then she goes home. Oh, she did pick up one of Mr. Ocax's feathers as like a token.
Spoil of war.
A spoil of war. And she goes home and she sees that her father's red flag is up, which is the flag he puts out when there's a family meeting. She walks in the door and he's basically saying, and I'm sorry to say this, but we all must part ways. We must split up the colony in order to give ourselves the biggest chance of survival because there's just not enough food for all of us. Survival of the fittest or whatever. And she walks in, she's like, Mr. Ocax is dead! And you know what her dad says? He's like, it's because you did what I told you to do.
The worst!
Her dad sucks. He's so annoying.
There's always like little hints of like true emotion behind those little mousy eyes. But then he's got to take credit for Ocax's death.
Yeah. So Poppy is triumphant. The family moves to new house.
Or at least half of them.
At least half of them. And then it flashes forward like a year or something.
Mm-hmm.
And Poppy is now married to a mouse named Rye, which, as we said earlier, is Ragweed's brother. But the book says, and that's a story for another day. Next book, I guess. And then Poppy has kids. And then they go up to the hill where Ragweed died, and there's a hazelnut tree sprouting. And it's because when Ragweed died, he was holding a hazelnut. So Poppy's like, I don't know if this was the hazelnut that he was holding specifically, or if it's another hazelnut that happens to be here. But at any rate, it's a nice sort of monument to this mouse that was really important to me. And then she hangs up his earring at the top, so that it will always be like a shrine to Ragweed. And that's the book.
And they dance.
And they dance.
Hooray! She achieves her goal of dancing.
And Ereth is there, and he shakes his quills.
And Ereth is there, and he's basically like the grumpy old uncle, which I love.
He makes a little beat by shaking his quills.
Yeah,
so it's like,
he gets a book, because one of the subsequent books is about his birthday. And so Poppy and Ereth develop like a pretty long-lasting friendship, and I think it's really sweet because like their dynamic is so funny.
Yeah.
Where Ereth is basically the character that pretends like he doesn't care about Poppy at all, but then basically his book is him thinking that Poppy forgot his birthday and being upset about it. He's like, wait, I always pretend to not care about Poppy, but what if she actually doesn't care about me? Anyways, I think it's fun.
How sweet.
Right.
Yeah. And that's Poppy.
It's a really nice book. I can't put it. It's hard. It reminds me a lot about Mrs. Frisbee, sort of in tone and in scope.
Yeah.
Like Mrs. Frisbee, you know, there's a big owl. She's got a family. They got to move.
Yeah. Basically, when you're a tiny mouse, the biggest life events that you have are we gotta move or we gotta get married.
We gotta move, family, owl.
Yeah.
Those are the big life events of a mouse. Also, maybe there's a person there. That's also a pretty big life event.
Yeah.
Also, maybe you've been medically experimented on and you're achieving human levels of engineering capacity.
Saying if Mr. Ages was in this world, then he could take a look at Ereth's liver and maybe diagnose what's going on there.
I don't think Ereth would approve of anything Mr. Ages has to say.
That's true.
Purely out of spite.
Mr. Ages would say, I think you gotta cut back on salt. And Ereth would be like, ugh, you don't know what you're talking about.
It is rather impressive, I think, that Ereth knows it's his liver.
That's true.
He's not just like, I just crave salt. I love it. He's like, it's specifically my liver.
Yeah.
You're like, how do you know? Well, okay.
It is interesting because the animals live adjacent to human society. So Poppy, for example, has read magazines and stuff.
Yeah. This book delves into like the details of an animal society, probably the least out of all the books. Like obviously there is a mouse society, but that's the extent we get. And someone made an earring for a mouse at some point, and they can make flags.
I think Ragweed just found it.
That would also work.
think in his book, basically his backstory is he grew up like near a brook and then decided to leave and adventure. And so he went to the city. So he actually like lived in a big city for a bit and like had crazy adventures there before presumably meeting Poppy at some point.
Yeah. These animals are pretty animal.
Yeah.
Besides like the reading, but that doesn't really like come into account very much in the story, like plot wise.
Yeah.
The most interesting part about the book to me is like the for lack of a better term, unless you guys have something else, like the political message.
Yeah.
It's very clearly like, there's propaganda, there is brainwashing, there is incompetent middle manager leaders. I guess that's what Poppy's dad is.
Yeah.
There's like societal shunning and all this stuff. And then there is one brave mouse who is willing to risk something different, not even to change things, but just to try to improve things slightly.
Yeah.
Like Poppy's, I wrote a note earlier, and I don't know if this is actually true or not, but I wrote Poppy's job is revolutionary, which doesn't actually turn out to be correct. The world and the mouse worldview is set up in a specific way that you would assume there would be some sort of like a mouse revolution, but it resolves itself more on like a one-on-one, like in a person, like you said, Michael, in a personal battle.
Yeah, the revolutionary aspects of Poppy's character are simply by getting to know people outside of her world.
Which is, I think, for a children's book, a really important message. I think children need to learn that lesson first before they go on to revolution.
Yeah.
Very important.
Yeah.
It's important to meet different people and become friends with people who have different worldviews than you.
And just also explore ideas outside of because she has to, and she's not even like done exploring like worldviews outside of her own by the time she's fighting Mr. Ocax in a duel to the death, because she's like learned things from Ragweed's perspective, and then on her own she's learned more things for herself, but it's still a bit of an oscillative, back and forth where I've realized so much of what I thought of how things were isn't really how they are. But when Mr. Ocax talks to her and is like, why don't we talk, the two smart ones, and then we can figure out, she does still have like her times where she thinks to herself, maybe there's like wiggle room here.
Yeah, she's being enticed by power, by the idea of being equal to power.
There's definitely ego flattering, and it's also just kind of like, I think old habits die hard in a way.
Yeah.
It's hard especially if you've been brought up thinking the owl takes care of us and he's great and powerful and fearsome, but also just. It's sort of hard in some respects to fully 180 out of it. Yeah.
There's a quote from Ragweed that I really like that I wrote down, which is, what does this allow the owl to do?
Yes, I wrote that down too.
It's such a great, I think this is the message of the book.
Yeah.
It's really just about like questioning things and doubting when there's a rule that doesn't make sense. When an authority says something, like why, like if there's a rule.
Who's benefiting from this rule?
Who's benefiting? Why? What does that allow the people in charge to do when it prevents me from doing something?
It's a healthy skepticism.
Yeah.
Especially coming from Ragweed, who himself, personality-wise, is pretty like, even when he's like taking his life into his own hands, is pretty like lackadaisical, like happy-go-lucky in a way. His questions, and we hear more about his questions like later on, as you said, Victoria, he's like the ghost that haunts the narrative. They're simple, straightforward questions that if they had simple, straightforward answers, those could be provided, but there are no simple, straightforward answers that the mice have. What does this allow the owl to do? The mice don't know because they've never necessarily been presented with that kind of way of thinking about their world.
They don't have the context.
Yeah.
But now Poppy has the context.
Yeah.
This actually just brought up an interesting parallel with Mrs. Frisbee, which is that both characters, they're both female characters who step out of their comfort zone after their loved one passes away. And I just think that's interesting because it's like, I think we talked about this in the Mrs. Frisbee episode, which is that if her husband hadn't died, she may not have gone on the whole journey that she went on, because when they needed to move, he would have just like sorted it out, and she would have maybe not learned about the rats or like everything, like the fact that her husband is genetically engineered until like he decided to tell her later, right?
Yeah.
I think similarly with Poppy, Ragweed has these ideas that do influence her, but she's not willing to take a stand until she sees him die and realizes, oh no, everything is bad and he was right. But I do think it's interesting that in a world where Ragweed didn't die, I guess maybe he would have gone with her on this journey.
Yeah, I think that someone, Poppy possibly, but someone would have had to go to New House eventually.
Yeah.
And these events could have played out in some version, but Ocax killing Ragweed definitely accelerated the events and also gave Poppy this sort of like existential motivation to do it. Because what you said is really interesting, because this is not a revenge book. There's no like vengeance arc here. A lot of stories about like this grizzled guy's wife died and now he's out to get the killers or whatever. Like it's always about revenge.
Yeah.
But this isn't about that. This is about like preserving family and like expanding worldview, which is like the same as Mrs. Frisbee. I don't know what that means, but the fact that it's a female protagonist who is inspired by a male loved one who has passed to be brave and do stuff, rather than a male protagonist who is inspired to violence by the passing of a female love interest.
Yeah.
There's something interesting there. Yeah.
Something, yeah.
Yeah.
And they're mice.
And they're mice.
There's more of in this case, it's more of like it leans a little more towards like Poppy is queued up to be a skeptic. And then with the death of her boyfriend, for half a second, fiance, she is like more further radicalized.
Yeah.
And is more willing to like take serious risks in order to try and do right by herself and her family and everything. I think with Mrs. Frisbee, it's a little harder to say. It's more just like,
because we didn't know Jonathan basically.
Someone's got to do this
at all.
Yeah.
And we didn't know what their relationship was like or anything.
Mrs. Frisbee's more specifically about the experience of being a single mother.
Yeah.
Faced with a world where everything is really big and wants to eat you.
Yes.
Yeah. Mr. Ocax is the perfect example of an authoritarian regime pushing down on people, and just by the very action of pushing down on people, forcing them to rise up around the edges and take you out.
Yeah. The stronger you hold that fistful of sand, the more spills through your fingers.
Ooh.
Oh, that's good.
I don't know. But yeah, no, it's true. And we talked about Jino with that last line of his about, I don't know why I go to the trouble to protect you, being like, oh, in some way he believes it and how revealing it is. It's just a lovely button on the thing where it's like, this situation was not healthy for anyone. Obviously, Mr. Ocax was doing much better for himself than the mice. But if like Mr. Ocax plays himself throughout this whole book, he is so obsessed, not just with like, I want to eat mice, but I want to punish this mice that defied my authority. It's like, what authority, dude? You know, on some level, it's a lie.
He literally loses sleep over Poppy.
Yeah.
Because he's like, I could go to sleep, but instead I'll stay awake and see if I can catch her while she thinks it's safe.
No, that's so, because these mice don't present a threat to him at all. They're just food. He doesn't need to farm them. He can just be an owl and hunt. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all in his head. I think there's a bit where he talks about his mother too.
Oh, yeah. There's an interesting parallel where Poppy remembers that her mom told her that an alert mouse is a safe mouse, basically.
Yeah.
And then Mr. Ocax, in basically like the next page, has something that his mom told him, which was, I wrote it down.
Something about like a hungry owl. Strong owl make good time.
An alert owl is a well-fed owl.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What Poppy's mom says is the only live mouse is an alert mouse.
Ah.
Speaking of lines, I also there was another line that I wrote down on page 153 of this book. Let me find it.
Alert
this is after.
Alert mouse.
This is after she
alert mouse make
kills
live mouse.
Mr. Ocax.
Live mouse make alert owl make well-fed owl make
sleepy owl
pellets.
The cycle of owl empire is not exactly checking out.
Yeah, that's for Gahul.
Yeah. Okay, so this is the start of chapter 19. For a long time, Poppy gazed at the lifeless body of Mr. Ocax. She thought she should be feeling triumphant joy. Plain gladness would have been good enough. Somewhere she did feel pride, but small as she was, it was buried deep. What Poppy felt was weariness, as if she had aged 4 seasons over the last hour. She felt old. I don't know, that felt relatable.
That feels like a really amazing description of someone going through a terribly traumatic event and staring at its corpse, literally.
Yeah.
Being like, I'm done.
And being like,
I
a
need to
day
take a
ago, I was eating corn. 2 days ago, I was getting engaged.
Yeah.
Yeah. My whole world has changed in the course of these last, 5 minutes, but it feels like 4 years. Oh.
And now I must go home. But at least home is the same. Saruman, what are you doing?
The scouring of Grey House.
Oh my gosh.
The fox is there and he's like, I'm the villain the whole time.
Ereth secretly has been marinating Poppy this whole time, and he brings a whole army of porcupines. Oh my gosh.
I'm here to take control of your MouseKnight production. We're exporting to Gondor.
Ocax was cruel, but he was also right. God. My porcupine army.
Which is me. My family doesn't like me.
Oh yeah, he's a family.
He describes them not as past, but as wandered away.
Yeah.
He's basically like, I used to have a wife and I have kids, but porcupines were just solitary creatures. So we're not the type to live all together as a colony like mice. So it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's having a good time.
Yeah.
He's got a toilet.
Yeah. There's a whole chapter that takes place with Poppy standing in his toilet, just freaking out that he's a porcupine. And he's like, please get out of my toilet.
He's like, what are you doing in my toilet?
From Poppy's perspective, she's like, it was the worst smell I've ever smelled. It's like, I poop there. Get out.
He's like, I don't even want to be near there for too long. Another one that I thought was fun, speaking of Poppy gaining new perspectives, there's a moment where she's in the forest where she realizes that being in the forest makes her feel both small and immense. Where when she's in the forest by herself, she's like, okay, I'm a tiny mouse in a big, big forest. But also understanding that she's just one part of this giant forest makes her feel like she has more presence in the world, which is really fun.
Very meaningful.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's people who have had experiences like that in terms of trying new things or finding new communities that probably have expressed similar thoughts. I can't think of specific. Well, I can think of one, which is quite an example. The Artemis II landing coverage yesterday.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if it was I don't think it would have been one of the astronauts because they were busy, but one of the former astronauts that they had doing interviews was talking about the feeling of seeing planet Earth in a single eye shot, from space and being you feel both immense and very, very small.
Yeah.
Yeah. My example was a lot worse. I was thinking about if you get cast as an extra in a movie and then you walk down Hollywood Boulevard and you're like, it's so big, but I'm a part of it.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, it still tracks.
No,
Yeah.
yeah, it does. The entertainment industry is a fickle beast.
It's true.
But we're all a part of it, baby.
This is the specific passage. Poppy gazed at it in awe. She was not sure what she thought Dimwood Forest would be like. She knew only that she'd never imagined it so vast, so dense, so dark. The sight made her feel immensely isolated and small. Feeling small made her a part of all she saw. Being a part of it made her feel immense. It was so terribly confusing.
Gosh, that's beautiful.
Lots of
It
good
is.
nuggets in this short book.
Great nuggets.
Yeah.
That does also literally feel like walking through the redwoods in California.
Yeah.
And you look up and you're like, these trees are too big. Wow.
Yeah. But I think your example of being part of a new community is a great way to that's literally what Poppy's doing is she's expanding the limits of what her community looks like. And like I said, she becomes friends with Ereth for the rest of the series. Then she meets Ragwood's family. And so being part of a new community that doesn't make her feel small, because her family was we hate you now or whatever. I think that might be part of it too.
Yeah.
She has grown, but the world has also grown around her.
Yeah.
So you feel bigger, but you also know that that everything is still so big.
Mm-hmm. And that's why I think everyone should travel. I just think, it's just so wonderful. Just get on that plane and go. Leave it all behind.
Maybe even a train.
Maybe even a train.
Ooh.
Or an automobile.
Or
Planes, trains, and automobiles.
are you sponsored by a very old movie?
No, I just might, that thing that your brain does where it makes a connection from one thing to another. And there's no cause for it, but you are then prompted to express it to sort of clear the way for other thoughts. But walking, yes, you were saying. Walking
it's affordable. Although shoes are so expensive these days.
But they're quite impressive.
It's just easier to stay home. Let's all stay home and we'll ask the owl for permission whenever we need to leave.
Perfect. Any last thoughts on Poppy?
Big owl makes small mice. Small mice eat lots of corn. Corn's great. Corn. I love corn.
Wait, I wanted to show you guys some illustrations from the book.
Oh, yeah.
Because, well, listener, you can't really participate. But
we did this for Rets and In.
Yeah, check out the book Poppy from your local library and take a look at these wonderful illustrations by Brian Floca. Because she's just so small and cute. Like, this is one where she's laying under a leaf with her little sword. I think this is her in the cornfield sleeping.
That's so cute. The sense of scale.
Yeah.
All the texture on the dirt and the depth of field.
I love a round mouse. I love a bean-shaped mouse.
This is her when she first gets the sword and tries it out.
That's so cute.
Just like her movements are so fluid.
Yeah, her tail, how it swoops like that.
Yeah.
I love her just sitting with the quill on her lap.
She's so tiny. And then there's one other, I mean, there's like lots of great, even like this is a bigger scale one where you see like the tree with Mr. Ocax and then Ereth and then like Poppy is so itty bitty on the page. Like you probably can't even see it from where you're sitting.
Little jelly bean.
Sometimes the illustrations will just be like on like a small section of the page. So here's one where Poppy's just flying through the air.
Oh no,
that's so cute. Because some of these,
it's the owl making maximum impact on the ground.
Yeah, this is when Mr. Ocax tries to get her on her way home.
Turn it around again.
Turn around.
Nice. But it's lovely because there's like bigger illustrations there where it's sort of like the words sort of stop maybe partway down the page and the illustration fills it out. But then there's others that are sort of formatted alongside the words. Like
and then you get like full page illustrations too.
Wow.
This is when Ragweed dies.
That's a really cool image.
Yeah. It's
sorry,
Mr.
Ragweed,
Ocax
but...
like wings spread descending from the sky. There's like the moon overhead and then these two tiny mice below his claws.
Again, perspective. Like from a mouse's perspective, the owl is the demon of the skies. From our perspective, they're like air cats.
Oh yeah, like this one. Like this is like a perspective of how wide and vast the forest is, and then Poppy is tiny in it.
That's beautiful.
Just really excellent illustrations.
I love a big tree.
Yeah.
I love it when sunlight filters through a big tree.
It's great.
It's great. We should do more of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, here's the cat.
I love the
cat
description
named
of
George.
the cat.
He's so sweepy.
It is funny because, like, in Mrs. Frisbee, there was a farm cat who is the enemy.
Yeah.
But then there's an owl who's a friend. In this one, there's the owl who's evil, and then the cat is like, I'm just a cat.
The cat
old.
smells like fish, which implies like can fed, which I love. It's like a little detail. They don't explicitly say it, but it's like, oh, this cat's not gonna go after the mouse because why would it?
Yeah. Plenty of food. Thanks for reading this book.
Yeah, it was so fun.
Great.
It was so cute. Love Poppy.
Mouse with spear.
Mouse with spear. Mouse with porcupine best friend.
Love it.
Well, thank you, listener, for listening to this wonderful episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave us a rating and subscribe. Follow us on your podcast platform of choice. Leave us a comment either on this episode or on our Instagram at Nostalgia Club Podcast. You can also email us with your suggestions for what we should cover next at nostalgiclubpodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, and don't be shy.
Yeah.
We get lots of emails where people really delve into like the recommendations and why they like them.
And it's so fun to read.
Yeah.
Yeah. We love talking about nostalgic media and hearing your thoughts about nostalgic media.
Yeah.
We also have a Ko-fi if you would like to support us making the show. And we also have other stuff under MouseKnight Studios on all social media platforms. Woo! Right now it's just one show, but we're making more shows.
Don't say that, Victoria. It'll date us.
Oh yeah, you're right.
We have a number of shows. Yeah. I say the two of you have
You're involved, Michael.
The company, MouseKnight Studios, possesses a quantity of shows.
We're in trouble, guys. The shareholders are so mad. It's me and Victoria.
Also, if you like mouse media, I was recently in a show where I play a dormouse.
Yes!
Who's a bassist.
That's right.
So you should check it out. Look up Feminist Fairy Tales on all podcast platforms.
Mouse with bass.
Mouse with bass.
Mouse with rhythm.
And it was a lot of fun. And I got to play a mouse, which is a dream of mine. Truly.
Truly perfect casting.
Yeah.
It just fills my heart. With like light and love and laughter.
And sick tunes.
Yeah.
And corn. Uh-oh.
No! That's not where it goes!
I did have a thought while reading this book where I was like, she's eating a lot of corn, which is like, there's nothing wrong with that. But I was like, what if it's like she overeats and then she's like slower when she fights Mr. Ocax?
That'd be
so sad.
That's a brutal way to end the book.
No, I was like, I don't think that's going to happen, but I was like, what if?
But Poppy had eaten too much corn, and so she was a half second too late, and Mr. Ocax got her at the end.
Either that, or it'd be like the scene in Ratatouille where Emile eats all the grapes. And he
spits out corn.
all the corn kernels, like, she just like shoots them at Mr. Ocax. He's like, what the heck?
Is Poppy swallowing these corn kernels whole?
I don't know. I don't know. Cartoon mice are funny. Anyways, until next time, have some corn, question authority.
Have some salt.
Have some salt, yeah, but not too much.
Not too much.
Oh, he makes salt and the corn together.
Have some salt.
Salty corn.
Have some salt, but not too much. Have some corn, but not too much. Have some authority, but not too much.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there we go. That's good.